For this video, I'm going to be breaking down one of my favorite scenes, and it's actually a couple of scenes from the Korean drama Donggi, or Jewel in the Palace for those newcomers. It's at the end of the episode, in episode 6, when the king and the title character Donggi meet for the first time. It's my favorite scene because it's so cute the way they meet. And I believe how a couple meets for the first time dictates how fun it would be to watch them in the future. And this meeting is really, really fun. The king meets the busybody, Donggi, and they do detective work together. It's so fun to see them interacting like this the way they do. So it starts off with Donggi in the place where she was captured in the beginning to discover what's been going on with the instruments in the king's palace. Then the king comes in and he comes alone and leaves his guards outside. Donggi is hiding behind some hay cubes or whatever they're called, and the king hides behind them as well when he hears danger outside. Then they finally meet, and at this time she does not know that he is king, so she kind of manhandles him a little. She looks at him with a strong grimace, and she talks to him in a way that he's not used to. It's so funny to see how he reacts to it. A lot more danger outside ensues, so they sneak out of the barn and start running for their lives. The king is all out of breath because he's not used to running, like, at all. And Donggi continues to question him and talk to him with attitude. It's so funny. And during the scene, the nighttime setting has its advantages because the moonlight kind of makes the sweat on their faces glisten almost. It's kind of weird, but it's cool. The king asks her who she is, and all the while he's just huffing and puffing, trying to keep his breath. And she just throws the question back at him, and then they put together some aspects of the instrument issue, and they throw some detective work out there. It's so cool to see them interacting like this for the first time. In this scene, I also love how you see the fog coming from behind them. It makes the nighttime setting more dominant, and it brings a nicer, more creative look to the scene. It's cool. So when she brings up that she saw the dead body before, he seems a little more interested, and she asks him if he's a law officer. And guess what the king says? Which doesn't really make sense, since she knows that he has never ran before. But let's move on from that. A couple of scenes are inserted after that, and then we come back to both the king and Donggi creeping and hiding behind the bushes. I love how she just explains what's going on and like gives him orders, and he just nods along like he really respects what she's saying. It's so funny. But when she says that she'll go in alone, he is hesitant and says, "But you're a girl. How can you keep them here?" And she says it's because when she starts something, she can never let it go. And that's the line that really best describes her character. It's so perfect. Then the king looks at her and smiles and says, like, what? It's cute. The creepy, sneaky music with the dominant bass comes on, and they put the plan to action. Donggi continues to be Donggi and steps up to try and climb over the brick wall. And then the king comes back to help her. She asks if he told any soldiers to come here and help him, and being the king to help, and he, being the king, says that he just told a man passing by to pass along the message. And she gives the most confused expression ever, like in pure disbelief. It's so funny. A scene goes by, and then we're back where we want to be. Donggi says she can't get over the wall and that she needs help, and then the king just agrees with her and nods his head. And Donggi just sitting there like, are you going to climb the wall or what? I love this little conversation banter here. I love how he keeps saying that he's never done something like this before. It's so funny. And then she does something that should never be done to a king ever. She gets on his back to help her climb the wall. So the poor king bends over and tries not to cry in the process. After that hilarious scene, they continue to creep around the house with the moon lighting their faces. It's so pretty. They find what they're looking for, and then Dungi goes in to go get it. But the king says he'll go get it, since he's probably lost some cool points about what happened earlier. So he goes in to get the salt rocks, and of course, he drops them. And the criminals catch on, and then the king talks his big royalty talk to the criminals, and they just don't care or believe what he's saying. Dungi steps in and throws a rock, and then they run for their lives. Again, he tells her to take the rocks and to leave him, but she refuses, of course. And with all this talk going on, the criminals catch up to them. The king says that he has never fought before, and Dungi is in disbelief again as she cannot believe that this type of man exists. I'm surprised that she's standing behind him and not in front of him, because he so clearly does not know how to handle a sword, and he's shaking. He then tells Dungi to run off, and that is the king's order, and of course she doesn't catch on, of course. Then he says, and the suspenseful music gets louder, and then the episode ends. I just love these scenes so much. I go back to watch them regularly. It's by far my favorite meeting of couples in Korean dramas ever. These scenes are so great, and they are the epitome of how a couple should meet in dramas, because they show both of the characters' true natures, and they put them together when they need it. Like, these scenes are so fun and thrilling at the same time. These scenes also uses the nighttime setting to good use, and you already want them to be a couple, like, right now. But then it takes, a lot of episodes to get there. So that's the end of this video. I hope that you liked it. Please help me get to 1,000 subscribers by subscribing to my channel, sharing it, and commenting. And I'll talk to you guys next Friday. And just trying to give out good vibes, not trying to bribe. To my videos, please comment, share, like, and subscribe. Goodbye.